In this tutorial, I'll be demonstrating how you can use Inkscape to create these illustrative logos by tracing vectors on top of a photo. As you can see that I've done here with this stock photo that I downloaded, I was able to create a logo for a fictitious painting company. And because this tutorial has a lot of steps in it, I'll be moving through this a lot quicker than I normally do in my other lessons. So this is a tutorial for those of you who are already familiar with the basics in Inkscape. And if you'd like to learn more about how Inkscape works, be sure to check out my Inkscape Masterclass. It's a collection of over 80 videos where we go over all of the tools and features in Inkscape, and I explain what they are and demonstrate how they work, kind of like how I'll do in this tutorial. We even have a private community where you can ask questions and get help from me anytime you want. I'll have some information about that down below if you want to check that out. And now that that's out of the way, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is import my photo into Inkscape, and then I'm going to grab the pen tool and start tracing over it to create some shapes that trace over the contour of the subject. So let me grab my pen tool, and the setting I'm going to use is up here where it says create B-spline. If you hover your cursor over it, it'll show you what it is. We want to create B-splines because that makes it easy to draw automatically smooth lines without having to manually curve them. So I'm just going to click to add points going around the subject's face here, and I'm going to create a shape going around his entire head by clicking to add points. And when you get to a point where you need to add a corner node, just hold your shift key and click, and that'll create a corner point there without having to change the pen tool setting. So if you hold shift and click, and there you go, it creates it nice and easy, and then you can continue drawing. So I'll hold shift to create another one, and there we go. And then I'll just continue on with what I'm doing here, creating a rudimentary outline of the subject's hair. And once you're finished tracing the outline of the subject, you can just click back to the starting point to close the path, and now we have a completed shape. So now that that's done, we're going to basically just repeat this process for all of the other key features of the subject here. Now I'm going to create another shape going around the subject's hair, or the inside of it anyway. We already got the outline, so let me press escape to deselect that. And I'm going to start off by turning on snapping, and I'm going to snap to the corner right here, and then I'll just turn off snapping by pressing shift 5, and then I'm going to draw a shape that traces along the subject's hair. And once you're finished tracing the inside of that, you could just continue drawing this shape going all around, oops, let me reconnect that, going all the way around the outside of the subject like this. And don't worry about it not matching anything. We're going to clip off the excess in just a second. So I'm going to hold shift and connect it back to the starting point. And now I'm going to take my selection tool, and I'm going to take the face shape. I'm going to duplicate that by pressing Control D, and then I'll select that along with the other shape, and I'll do a path intersection. And then we now have two separate objects for both the head and the hair. So let me put that back in place. Now what I will do is I'm going to fill this in with some color. So let me grab the face shape, and I'm going to press D to get my dropper tool, and I'm just going to sample some of the skin tone in there just to get like an accurate skin tone like that. And then I could send that to the back, and then I could do the same thing with the hair. I'm going to press D on the keyboard to get my dropper tool, take a sample of the hair color, and there we go. And for what I'm going to do here, I want to make the stroke the same color as the hair. So I'm going to hold shift and click on that as well to make that the stroke color. And then I'll take the image and send that to the back. Instead of using these buttons up here to raise and lower the image, you can just use your home and end key on the keyboard, which will be a lot quicker. You'll be doing that a lot throughout this exercise here, so you may want to get familiar with that keyboard shortcut. I'm just going to press end on the keyboard to lower that back down, and I'm going to select this face shape and just make the stroke the same color by holding shift and clicking on a sample of that hair color with the dropper tool. Okay, so now I will raise my image back to the top, and now I'm going to create a shape to go around the eyes. So let me grab my pen tool, and I will do that. I will make this white, and then I will get rid of the stroke, and then I will lower that down. And now I'm going to grab my circles and ellipses tool and make circles for the inside of the eyes. And then I'm going to take the original eye shape, let me duplicate that, and I'm going to select that and the circle beneath it, and I'll just do a path intersection to make that fit within there. And now I'm going to take the eye shape and duplicate that, and I want to give that a stroke that is the same color as the hair over here. And then remove the fill color. So now we have an outline going around the eyes. So let me go back to the stroke. Let me go to the stroke style tab. If you notice these corners are sharp, I want to make that join rounded so that those aren't sharp. And one thing I forgot to point out for the hair, let me raise the image back to the top. If you notice the hairstyle is sort of like a little fade down here towards the bottom. So I'm going to simulate that using a gradient. I'm going to grab this object and I will grab my gradient tool and I'll just click and drag to create a linear gradient like that, and then I'll just move these handles around as needed. And I'm actually going to remove the stroke from the hair object, so let me hold shift and click on that red X down there. And that looks a little better than it did previously. So let me raise the image back up to the top, and now I will create the other eye. Okay, so now that that's done, I will raise that back to the top, the image back to the top, and I'll create the next object, which would be over here. I'm going to create an outline of the nose using the pen tool. So let me press B on the keyboard to get the pen tool, and now I will draw a line that goes around the contour of the subject's nose. And once you're finished, you could press Enter to close the path. And I want to make that the same shade that we were working with previously. So let me lower that down. And let me grab a sample from this right here. And at this point, it may be useful to change the size of the stroke. So I'm going to come over here to the Stroke Style tab. And I want to make sure first I have a rounded cap. And I'm going to change the stroke width to something else like 2. Just so we have a larger size to work with. And I want to make all of the other strokes the same width as well, or the same size. I'm going to manually type in 2, and I'll do the same thing for all the other objects, just so we have a consistent look as we're doing this, because for what we're trying to create, we want a nice consistent look with this. And let me round that. And let me raise this back to the top, and now I'm going to create the mouth. So let me grab my pen tool again. And I'm going to draw a shape going around the contour of the mouth. Okay, so as I'm sure you can see by now, a lot of this is just repeating the same steps to draw these shapes and then placing them where they need to be in the stacking order. So let me create the next facial feature, which would be the eyebrows. So I'm going to grab my pen tool and draw shapes that match the contour of the eyebrows. And now I'm going to start adding in some of the smaller details. So let me raise this back to the top. I'm going to add in, for example, like a mouth crease right here. And now I will trace a line going around the inside of the ear, or part of it anyway. And now to help bring this to life a little more, I'm going to start adding in some shading details. So let me come over here to show you. I added some very minor shading details in here to the face. If you notice here, like above the mouth and under the eyes and the inside of the ear. So let me go in there and start creating those. To do this, I'm going to take the image and raise it to the top. And I'm going to bring the opacity of the image down a little bit so I can see part of my drawing while I do this. It's important to be able to see what exactly I'm drawing while I draw this. So, for example, I created a little bit of a light glare going around the nose, so I'm going to start off with that right here. I'm going to draw a little shape going around the nose. Okay, so let me bring my image back up to 100% opacity. Let me send it to the back. Oops. There we go, and now I can start coloring these in. So I'm going to start off with the darker shading here. I'm just going to select both of these objects, and I'm going to sample the skin tone and remove the stroke. And for the skin tone, I'm going to use something a little bit darker. So let me raise the lightness slider up a little bit, and that right there is about what I'm going for. And I'm going to use the same shade for these objects over here as well. So let me select all of those all at once, and then I can apply that same setting. And for the nose, I used a lighter shade, so let me use a lighter shade of the skin tone. Let me remove that stroke, and let me lower that down. You can use the page down key and the page up key to raise and lower objects above and beneath each other. Let Makes life a lot easy. And there's a couple of details I forgot. For example, like underneath the hair here. If you notice on my thumbnail design, I added a shadow going above the hair or underneath the hair and on the side of the nose. So let me add those in real quick. Okay, so at this point, I'm just going to speed things along by drawing the rest of the body here. I'm just going to repeat all of the processes that I used to create the face. It's basically just using those same processes to create the body, only this time I'm going to use a lot less details. For example, if you notice on my original design, I didn't include the pattern that was on the shirt because number one, this is just a logo. I'm keeping things simple. Number two, that pattern would kind of clash with the rest of the logo. But if you want to include these fine details, that's up to you. For this demonstration, I'm just going to keep it a solid fill. So let me go and draw the rest of this real quick. As you can see here, these are just really basic shapes, and these are all created using these same processes that I used to make the other or the previous shapes. Okay, so at this point I've finished creating the tracing, so I'm just going to take my original image and press delete to get rid of it. And now we're going to create the rest of the logo design with some text and the emblem going around the outside of it. So if you notice here, I took some liberties with the colors. I made these colors match the color of the shirt just to have some consistency. Since this is going to be used as a logo, I want to have some kind of color consistency throughout it. So I'm going to select all of this, Command G or Control G to group it together. And now I'm going to create some text. So I'm just going to grab my text tool by pressing T on the keyboard, and I'm just going to use some placeholder text for the fictitious name I came up with for this. And I'm going to change the font of this to, let me press Control Shift T to get my text editor. And the font I'm looking for is called, it begins with a BH, I know that much. Let me just search for it in here. BH, there we go. I think it's Benica. I'll click on that to apply it. And there we go. And I'm going to convert this to a path. I'll go to Path, Object to Path. And I'm going to go to Path, Split Path to split these letters apart. And I just want to move these letters a little closer together because it's a little too far apart as it stands right now. And I'll fix that apostrophe as well. And now I can select all of this and unify it together. And I'm going to place the text. Let me raise it to the top. I'm going to make the text a little bigger. And I'm going to duplicate this text. Or you know what? I'm going to make the text white. And then I will go to Path and select Linked Offset. And I'll make the linked offset a darker color. I'll just make it black for now. And I'm going to grab my nodes tool. I'm going to take this node up here and just bring this out to create an offset going around the text. That right there is what we're going for. And once I'm happy with how that looks, I'll finalize it by going to Path, Object to Path. And now I'm going to make this the same shade of, I'm going to make this the same shade that I was using for the rest of this design here, this deep purple shade, just so it looks consistent. And let me just scale this down a little bit and place it where it should be. And I'm going to create a white outline going around this offset. So let me select that, and I'm going to hold my Shift key and click on the white shade to add a white outline around it. And let me go to my Fill and Stroke menu. And I want to change the order to this option over here, the center one on the bottom row, Stroke Markers Fill, and that'll place the outline behind, it'll place the stroke behind the object instead of on top of it. And I'm going to make this bigger. Let me try something like 10. That looks pretty good. And now I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to create some text for the bottom part. Or if you notice, I put a little bit of a blue outline going around the text. So I'm going to do that as well, just to add a little bit of style to it. I'll go back to my text tool, and now I will create the tagline of the logo. And the font I want to use for this is Montserrat Black. There we go. Make that a little bigger, and I'm going to center this up against the, let me press Control Shift A to get my alignment menu. I'm going to center this on the text beneath it. And I'm going to convert this text to a path as well. Path, Object to Path. And I will make this text white and go to Path and choose Linked Offset. And I will make the offset color the same shade that the shirt is. And let me go back to my node tool. There we go. And then I will just bring that out like that. There we go. I'll finalize that by going to Object to Path. And if you notice, there's a lot of holes in there, so I'm going to select that and go to Path, Break Apart, and then Path Union. And I'm going to place this above the text over here, right about there. And I'm going to put an outline on this one too, the same white stroke that I put on there. So I'll hold Shift and click on the white, and it looks like it applied the style already, or close to it anyway. I'll have to make this 10, change the order to the bottom middle, move that up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is, I don't like how there's this white empty space in here, so I'm going to grab my nodes tool and just pull that out. I'm going to take these nodes and pull this down just so it's behind there like that. And there's some nodes in here that kind of don't belong, so I'm going to select those and just delete them out of there. There we go. And the last part would be to put the circle going around the back of it. So let me do the same thing. Let me grab my circles and ellipses tool and draw a circle, put that to the back, and make this the same shade that this is. And let me make this a white stroke as well. Looks like it already has it applied. All right, good, it's got that applied already. And I want this centered on the text as well. And there we go, that should do it for this tutorial. We were able to take a photo and create vector tracings of it to create this simple, or this illustrative logo design in Inkscape. If you have any questions, let me know, and as always, thanks for watching. If you found this lesson useful, then consider checking out my Inkscape Masterclass. It's a collection of over 60 videos where I go over all of the tools and features in Inkscape, and I explain what they are and demonstrate how they work. Kind of like how I did in this video. We even have a private community where you can ask questions and get help from me anytime you want. And best of all, there's no monthly membership fees. You just pay $17 one time and you're in for life. I'll have some information about that down below if you want to check that out. As always, thanks for watching.